Sorry, there's a gentleman shouting at the back. We really are not going to get through many questions.
No, we don't. If you don't answer the question,
I'm answering the question.
You said that the extra distance doesn't matter because the specialism that they're achieve when they're right save lives. Now, after the 1957 train crash in Lewisham, I think some people here will remember, there was an inquiry, took some months, and one of the principal conclusions was that the most important single cause of death, unnecessary death, was the time it takes to get to hospital. It doesn't matter which hospital, to get some proper treatment, and if you get them there within an hour of the incident, whether it's a road accident, an explosion, a gas explosion in a house, whatever it is, you've got to untangle the situation on the spot. It's not just about the time it takes for the ambulance. You've got to actually get the ambulance crew there and disentangle the patient. And you've got to get them there within an hour. After that, their chances, in a serious case, are much reduced. Now, that was 1957. I don't think the situation has changed very much. The roads are even more clogged. And whatever happens locally because of technical advances, everything is more complicated. And disentangling patients from wreckage also takes more time. Thank you.
That the birth rate is going up. Yeah. We have problems with capacity at King's, and my true concern is that if the maternity services are closed at King's, for instance, and they cannot go to St Thomas's or Lewisham, where is the closest hospital? And my gut feeling is that women will probably end up pulling over and give birth at the side of the road, you know, and not being able to make it to the nearest maternity unit. So that's my concern. And, you know, what plans have you got, for instance, because at King's we've had a maternity unit open probably about 9 years ago, and that's a PFI building, and I can't see where we're going to, you know, build onto that unit to increase the capacity and able to take Lewisham's mothers.
All right.
No, it is not. Sorry, if you just...
You're not being brought together to up to great standards. Don't bullshit us. You've been brought together to make cuts. The population is getting older, treatment is getting more expensive. How are you going to raise standards by making cuts? You're here to save money. Don't pretend with all this other stuff. And it's not, look at the end in that's national health service. There's no local solution to a local problem. It's the whole national health service's problem. I want your recommendation to tell the Secretary of State to fund the NHS, and if that means the profits of private companies who have leached on the ill of this country for the last 20 years are going to be cut, I'll make a video and know why we're going to have that profit.
Secondly, my health was brilliant until 2 years ago. Since then, I've had a heart bypass, 2 strokes, and a thrombosis, and 4 blue light in ambulance trips. And so I'm aware of the brilliant services being provided both at Lewisham and at King's. And the third thing is, my daughter is a very bright young hospital doctor, and I'm aware of the need for clinical expertise to be deployed properly. But deploying clinical expertise, however great a problem it may be, is small, I have to say, with the problem as to how to deal with the transport jungle of South London. North London has a North Circular Road, which is actually of a relatively high performance nowadays. What was missing, desperately missing, was response times. I mean, as a councillor, over the years, the number of times we dealt with police stations, fire stations, ambulance stations, you know, there was no mention of response times at all on the video. And
we've got some here.
Dr. Marin eventually said something about 30 minutes, which seemed more like a hope than a reality. But also, there's been very little comment about, well, we did get one from Dr. Pryor, where she talked about the split in the future if Lewisham A&E is closed. And those figures, she wasn't sure about them, and probably should have been, but I found them fantastic. The idea that only 7% would go to King's, 29% QE.
So I think you can so can we just correct some of the figures?
All right, but just let me finish.
Okay.
The need to be space and time contour maps showing, you know, the relationship between where people are living and where the facilities are, and indeed modal split figures between what means of transport people are using and that their relatives are using as well. And all I can say is the idea that a huge number of people from Lewisham are going to go to QE in Woolwich is a fantasy, and on this side of the borough, and whether you like it or not, you're on this side of the borough at the moment, this side of the borough, King's, is already very nearly nearer than Lewisham because of the traffic problems in Lewisham.
Right.
Now, King's A&E, as seen on television, King's A&E is absolutely chock-a-block in terms of capacity. We heard a convincing point about maternity from Claudette, but the inequalities point, the equalities point was most powerful of the whole meeting, because King's is in the heart of Peckham, Brixton and Camberwell, and it has an A&E on a street corner where all the capacity has now been taken up. They've extended it into the new Jubilee building, and that's it. And I cannot see how all these services being closed in Lewisham are going to be able to head in the King's direction.
Right.
And Woolwich is a faraway country of whom we know little.
My name is Brian Linbury, and I was for the first 5 years chair of the Lewisham Primary Care Trust from 2002 till 2007. And now I'm chair of the Barclays Society, and I'm a very rare bird in this meeting today, because not many of the people who've spoken are actually patients. And I represent quite a number of people with Parkinson's in the borough. I won't say everything I was going to say, but I'll just give you headlines. The one thing which underpinned the work we did in the PCT was consulting the public and users of services before we made decisions about what the services were going to be. And if you listen to patients and the public, as the public is expressing its view very strongly in Lewisham at present, with thousands of people out in the rain on Saturday afternoon. If you listen to patients and the public, you've got to be prepared to adapt your plans in response to the views that people have. And I was interested to see that the first draft of the report had a sentence in it, a principle. The interest of patients will always be the first priority. And I was encouraged by that, but then I looked in the report and I couldn't find the evidence which justified that statement. I can only really speak for the members of the Parkinson's UK branch in Lewisham, but they won't go to Greenwich. they use A&E more than most. And I'm expecting to use A&E quite soon because I fall down once or twice a week, and I've been very lucky so far. But I will no doubt find that I break something eventually. And there too, I wouldn't want to go to Greenwich. I would want to go to King's or St Thomas's if I was affected and there was no A&E in Lewisham. I think it's the only certainty within the NHS is that there will be uncertainty. And that I found all the time that I was involved with the NHS. The best brains were used not on patient care, but on reorganisation. and that made it very difficult. And the reorganisations you're talking about now with Lewisham Hospital are such that you can't really plan ahead adequately. And all I can say is that with a budget of something like 240 million, Lewisham Healthcare should be able to make 1% of changes and avoid the 3 million going into the pot. So I think it's a bit of a subterfuge. It's a bit of a subterfuge to put the 3 million of Lewisham projected deficit into the pot with the huge amounts of money from Greenwich and Bexley and Brockley. So, all told, the community services as well are another service which, as I said, it does well for the people of Lewisham, but may be disrupted if it has to merge with Greenwich and has a whole lot of changes just settling down after moving with Lewisham Healthcare from the Lewisham PCT.